Yeah, I got a bishop in my bed. Never thought I'd say that, right? So my guest in bed this morning is not just a man of the cloth. He is the whole damn tapestry, baby. He's a scholar, a performer, a theologian. I don't even know if I said that right. And a fierce advocate for queer spiritual liberation. From Fort Lauderdale's Sunshine Cathedral, where we're broadcasting to you right now, to global pulpits and prayer vigils, he reminds us that faith doesn't have to mean fear. He's also been my Vatican travel buddy, my theology professor, and the go-to when it comes to power couple goals, okay? He and his husband, Bishop Robert, are just literally power couple goals, all right? So light a candle, grab a cocktail in that order, and get ready to praise the fabulous Bishop Durrell Watkins. You know, one day that's going to be a whole, like, audience, right? And you're going to be, remember that day when you had to, like, make the noises? That won't be again. You know what I mean? How are you, my friend?
Excellent, excellent. There's two other people in this bedroom. So, but yeah, one day it'll be a big crowd. Big crowd. Yay! I mean, I have been in bedrooms with big crowds, but I was much younger.
Have you been, when's the last time you've been in bed with a woman?
Let's see. I guess my mom, when I had a bad dream about 45 years ago. I don't know.
Okay, well, Bishop, let's get real. Okay, many LGBTQ plus folks have been hurt by religion, and we've talked about this endlessly, and probably everybody asks you this stuff, you know? But you've made it like your mission to change that, all right? Why is it so important for queer people to reclaim faith?
Right. Well, because faith has been what was used against them. And so, yeah, you can say, well, fuck faith. I don't need any of that. That's an option. That's a legit option. But also, why should it be taken from you if you could value it otherwise? So if you want religion, if you want community, if you want ritual, if you want sacred stories, you get to have them, because the people who use it against you were just wrong. So yeah, if it's not for you, fine. But if you miss it and you want it, you get to have it. It's because,
there for you.
Yes, it's there for you. People misused it, and you can reclaim it. Just like when people, said they would call you a queer and that hurt your feelings, and then one day we're like, fuck that, we are queer and we're proud of it.
Yeah.
You took it back. You can do that same thing with religion.
Well, and even if it's one of those things that you want, like just community, right? Maybe you just want to make friends, right? And like, that's enough. You go to Sunshine Cathedral, and trust me, they all greet you, welcome you. Like, I've gone in there and I'm like, do I know that person? Right? Because like everybody will come and say hello to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you and Bishop Robert lead Sunshine Cathedral, hashtag My Queer Church. How did Sunshine become a spiritual home for so many in our community?
Well, it was started in 1971 in somebody's home.
What?
Yeah, it's just a handful of people. And the guy who played the organ in his home, he went on to become a deacon, and he was in this church until he died about 4 or 5 years ago. Wow. The whole time. So it started just a handful of people in someone's home, and then they got a pastor. They would get a new pastor about every year. They would stay about a year until John Gill came, and he was here for about 8 or 9 years, and then Grantland Ford was here for 22, and then I came along, and I've been here for 19. So we've had really good luck with long-term pastors. So yeah, we've been around since 1971. We've been at the current location since 2001, and it from day one was started by and with a primary outreach to queer people. Now the theology has gotten different. Like in the beginning, people were a little more conservative. We're sort of new thought and super liberal. So the theology has changed over the years, but the outreach has always been the same. We are by and for queer people, which certainly includes LGBTQ allies. That's part of the A in the LGBTQIAAPSQ thing.
LMNOP.
Right. So in our acronym community. So queer includes straight people, but we've always been sort of queer identified, and that's been the strand throughout the thing.
You know, you mentioned LGBTQIA, and a lot of people have issues with even saying the acronym correctly, blah, blah, blah. I have had people in this bed who I love and respect, and they have told me, I'm sick of it, don't add no more letters, blah, blah, blah. And where I come from, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Add 15 other letters. I will learn how to do it if it makes somebody feel seen.
That's the thing. If it makes you feel safe or seen or cared about, what does it cost me? I can spend another second saying another letter or two. Really, I mean, what's it hurt? Just do it.
I mean, it's like when people like dead name somebody, right? It's like it takes you a second to learn or to say I'm sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like, it takes you a second.
Right. So maybe Alexandria became Alexander and you can just call them Alex and
Alex.
no hiccup. So, but really they weren't doing any of this for your convenience. So if Alexandria became Billy, just cope. It's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly. But I look at it like, okay, it's the first time I'm meeting somebody. Hi, I'm Faye. Okay, hi, Faye. That's it. It's
Right.
not even another question what your
Right.
name is anymore. So why should it be otherwise if
Exactly.
you're trans, you know?
Exactly.
I remember when you and I and a group of 50 queer-ass people traveled to the Vatican together, right? You schooled us and even our guide on theology, right? Which I love. Like, I can't remember exactly where we were, if we were in a Sistine Chapel or in the Vatican. And there was like the guy that he was all excited to show us Christopher Columbus, right? And we all looked at him like, bitch, what? And then you got up and you're like, all right, let's start this all over again, right? In this little spot right here, there's a trans person in this mural. And I was like, blown away by that, like just blown away, you know. For those who don't know, tell me a little bit. Do you remember what I'm talking about when we went over there?
Oh my gosh, we were in so many places. We were in little villages and medieval places, and we went to Assisi and Assisi, not Assisi, but Assisi, and Pisa
Yes,
and Rome
Lucca
and
oof.
the catacombs, and where we had a very historic
Powerful.
service because, well, whatever, we can talk about that later. But no, there were all throughout, even in Israel and Italy and France, this ancient art, if you will look at these things, you will see, well, you just look past them because you don't know to look for them, but you will see a man, usually John the Beloved, at the feet of Jesus, like his corpse after he's been killed or whatever. There's always this guy at his feet. Feet are a euphemism in antiquity for genitalia.
Okay.
And so that it's always John the Beloved at that very sensitive and intimate part of his body
His feet.
that's saying something, you know? And that Mary, his mother, like at the Pentecost upper room, she's always in the middle. Because there is this legend that she sort of ran that community after he died for a while, and that's where they met, was in the upper room. And so there's all of these artistic hints that we're just not told to look for. But there are lots of intimate and romantic and familial and women empowering stuff. And so, yeah, everywhere we go, I look for those things. And I get to say, hey, look there, look there.
And no, and it's so powerful. And folks, you got to come to my queer church, the Sunshine Cathedral. You can also see the services online because he elaborates on this so much more, you know. Let's talk about the catacombs for one second, okay? Because you brought that up, and that was so powerful. And, you know, my wife was raised Catholic, so she didn't want to go.
I don't know.
And then some kind of power beyond us, FayWhat? No, some kind of power beyond us, all of a sudden she goes, I want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was weird to me because I was already ready to go with just me and Al. I was going to sit next to him and it was going to be fine. All of a sudden, Teresa wants to go. And she was so affected by the power and the energy down there and your words. And mind you, the service was probably 40 minutes in total.
Right.
You know, but I mean, why was that so important? There's a bunch of queer kids, literally, at these catacombs that have been there forever.
Well, first of all, we like entered into history when we did that. In the early days, the reason, if you're Roman Catholic, every altar you have ever received communion from has been consecrated with a relic of a saint. Now, where does that come from? That comes from the very early Jesus movement where they met in cemeteries and catacombs, and those graves they used as an altar. That was their table where they used communion. And so it's become the tradition since almost ever that in the Roman Catholic Church, you have to have a relic, a bone, a chip of something from a saint to consecrate the altar. So so that we are actually worshiping that day like the Christians in the year 100 would have worshiped. So that was super powerful. Queer people, by the way. Secondly, not only queer, but a lot of us, we're not an official Catholic group. So some people like your wife identify as Catholic or former Catholic, but there were also Protestants and atheists. And, you know, and so we're all together. And it was Pope Francis, but we were allowed. We were welcome. In fact,
But you had to be given permission.
and they did, though. That was the thing. It was not super rough. And then the guy who like runs it, the sacristan or whatever, he said, he set up the table for us for Mass, and he said, this is a Catholic Mass or a Protestant Mass. Like, he accommodated us. And that was historic. That would have never happened before Francis. And so this ecumenical, interfaith, maybe even secular group of queer people had a sacred service in a Catholic space but also a very historic place, like the first 100 years of Christians would have worshipped. In fact, the very spot that some of them. So it was really amazing, and I think that was another reason why people who weren't so much into religion gave that moment a chance, because it was more than just faith or tradition. It was history. It was seditious almost, and so it was powerful. It was justice oriented. And also, I hope this is what we do, whether we're on the road or here in Florida, Sunshine Cathedral. We want to create a safe space where you can come and explore. Not where you have to come and believe whatever we say you have to believe, but where you can come and experience what is true for you. And so I hope that's what Teresa had there, here, anywhere else. Like, I can go away here but not believe in a damn thing. Okay, I'm glad this is where you worked that out.
No, and again, you give that space to ask these questions, to have these uncomfortable conversations that in most other religions, you don't get that. This is kind of how it is, and that's it, you know? You just led a powerful vigil outside of Alligator Alcatraz. And you're hosting you're hosting weekly prayer events, and you're also going to lead another one next month, right? Why take this fight for justice to the streets? Why? Because it's not a protest, and this is what you said in your video. This is not a protest. We are here praying for the souls inside, for the humans inside.
Well, that's the thing, is that we have become somehow in this country over the last 40 years, more so in the last 20, super more so in the last dozen, less and less human. And so that's what the prayer is for, is that we reclaim our humanity. Because even if you weren't religious, a lot of people aren't, to think that people are in a place where they don't have adequate plumbing, where they're overcrowded, where they just shut the AC off for a long period of time, where you have minutes, I mean like 3 or 4 minutes to eat your meal, like these are not okay conditions. The people inside, their only crime, I mean, maybe 100 years ago they got caught with some weed or they had a speeding ticket, but really the only crime most of these people is they want to be here.
Yeah.
And they are being treated like hardened criminals, really worse than hardened criminals. Nobody, I don't care if you burned villages to the ground, you still should be able to eat your meal and have your bath and have sleep. So it was that we're allowing it. So what we're trying to do is bring awareness that this inhuman situation is going on in our name and with our permission. So we're standing there screaming, don't do it in my name, and you don't have my permission. These are people, most of whom just want to be here. We ought to figure out a way for them to stay here. But even if you can't manage that, if you're not smart enough to do that, at least do what you feel like you have to do humanely.
Yeah.
Nobody should, in fact, I shouldn't even go into the details of how terrible, but like the water pressure is so bad, people have to scoop out their own feces because they won't flush.
Oh my God.
And yeah, like you have 3 or 4 minutes to eat your lunch.
That's worse than Rikers. I mean, like, it's worse. You know, people are saying, oh, these people are not criminals. This is worse than criminals.
Well, the name Alcatraz, that is a cruel and intentional. Like, I thought it was some kind of joke. Like, we're just pretending like it's as bad as Alcatraz. No, that's the official name. All the green signs on the road says Alligator Alcatraz. They chose intentionally that cruel name.
Yeah.
So that that is their goal, is to be like Alcatraz. And really, that's who we are. That's who we want to be. Now, because I'm a person of faith, I'm like, well, Jesus wouldn't like that, and the prophets wouldn't like that, and Muhammad wouldn't like that, and Buddha wouldn't like that. But screw them. Just as a person, I should be appalled by that.
We should all be appalled by that.
Yes.
You know, and you met other folks from different faiths, right? Leaders in their own communities that doesn't matter that maybe you don't agree on wah, and wah, you agreed on this.
Yeah. We had Unitarian Universalists, we had Buddhists, we had United Church of Christ, we had Metropolitan Community Churches, we had Episcopalians, and that was just that one day. And so I'm sure Unity and Baptists and everybody eventually. We had Jewish people. In fact, the woman who sort of was really in charge of getting together, she's a Jewish person, not a rabbi, not a cantor, just a person from New York. And so she came and oversaw it. So what is happening is that clergy all over Florida are doing this, and we're taking turns sort of being in charge. And so on September 28th, the last Sunday in September,
which is September 28th.
Sunshine Cathedral and Joy Metropolitan Community Church in Orlando, we're partnering up, and we're going to be in charge that day again. Now we can go, like we went that time for the inaugural to help lead, and we'll go off and on throughout, but we're just in charge on the 28th, which just means we do the liturgy, and because everyone can show up and participate, and we want that, because we want the world to see that that Floridians, and particularly Floridians of faith, any faith, find this appalling, and we don't, we're not okay with this. And so we're bearing witness to their suffering and affirming that we are opposed to that. That's just not necessary.
Was there any opposition with this? Was there, I mean, because again, it's a prayer, not a protest, and you continue to say
Right.
that to not, to honestly not get pushed out.
Right. Meanwhile, we are across from the facility itself. We're screaming, not anymore, or enough. We're praying, we're talking, we're speaking. And sure enough, though, people would drive by, and like people on their motorcycles would rev up their engines to sort of just so that we couldn't hear ourselves or whatever, or trucks would go by and honk, or one lady, as she was driving by in her pickup truck, was like, named the current president and said, "Best president ever." Now, meanwhile, we don't have a sign about any president.
No.
We're sitting there praying
Yeah.
for the suffering people across the street. We don't have a permit. We're just on the side of a public road because we get to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the media was there, and I was taking photos for Happening Out Network, and you did a whole story the very next day. But yeah, it's just people bearing witness to the suffering, and then saying this isn't what we want,
okay.
Especially as people of faith. So yeah, people are coming from all over Florida, all kinds of faith traditions. And it's sort of the best of religion. We see a lot of the worst of religion, especially as it's politicized in these recent years. But this is sort of the best of religion, where it brings people together. It affirms dignity and sacred value of all people. It prays for peace and healing and justice. This is what it's meant to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to be there on September 28th. I think it's fantastic that, this incredible queer church, Sunshine Cathedral, is going to be leading the way that they...
We were the only queer-identified church that day.
That's amazing.
And now we won't be the only one on the 28th because there's at least one other co-sponsoring with us.
Yeah. Unity on the Beach is Unity on the Beach. Unity on the Bay is doing this Sunday, actually.
See?
So
Right.
like slowly but surely, but Sunshine was the first. You know what I mean? Was the first. Let's talk about queer joy. Okay, what's one moment in ministry where you felt, yes, this is why I effing do this?
Right. Oh my God, so many. Because I started early.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I'll be 59 in November. And I have been doing this since 1992. So my first ministry was as an AIDS chaplain in the AIDS crisis, where I did about 100 funerals in 3 years, never of anyone over 50, and all before I was 30. So that's been my trajectory. I've been around a long time. Look at young me. Those are, in fact, I believe that's my ordination day. So anyway, I've been doing this, since Jesus was knee high to a centurion, and I've been doing this a long, long time. And so along the way, I have seen combination therapies for HIV come out, which was sort of a miracle. I've seen sodomy laws repealed. I've seen marriage equality. In fact, the Supreme Court for the U.S. Approved marriage equality on Friday in 2015. Robert and I got married on Saturday. We'd already planned it.
Oh, okay.
It
Wait a
just
minute. I was like,
happened.
wow.
It just happened.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so then 24 hours of it being legal, to hear the celebrant, well, we had 15 clergy people, but that celebrant say, by the authority vested in me by the U.S. Constitution, I pronounce you husband and husband, or man, or married, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But so that was another one, and then those are all joy. But sometimes things are powerful that aren't joyful, and so when women's bodily autonomy was taken away, when the Voting Rights Act was gutted, these are sad moments, but also very powerful because it was a call to action. I'm not here to try to get anybody to heaven. I don't know what happens in the next life. I don't know what's happening in the parking lot right now, right? So I'm not here. I'm not the real estate agent for heavenly property. Religion for me is about making this world better. And so when things are going to hell, when things are going to shit, when women are told you don't get to control your own body, when trans people don't even get to compete in athletics or get to go to public restrooms, that is insane. Now the prophetic tradition of religion is you've got to speak out to that. Yeah. And so, I was so thrilled when my husband and I were legally married, but I've also was challenged to, and people want you to be quiet. People are like, we don't come to church for politics. Well, I don't know why you come to church, but we're not going to be silent when there's evil going on.
No, of course not.
And so, so those things have also been powerful moments of wow, I'm in a position to say something, and it is my responsibility and my privilege to be able to speak out to this issue. And God forbid history should record that I was silent.
Well, and while you do this while still being relatable, attainable, and reachable, I met you when you were a reverend, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're a bishop, First of all, what's the difference?
historically, the threefold ministry, and see, this is all churchy and who cares, but historically, the threefold ministry is deacon, priest, or elder, or presbyter, all the same thing. Deacon, priest, and bishop. And so bishop historically was sort of an administrator. So the deacon was the person who took care of needs in the local community, mostly widows, orphans, people who were poor who needed some help. So the deacon, in fact, deacon, diakonos, is the Greek word. It means table server. So basically a waiter. The person
Like a server.
Yeah, the person who serves you.
Well, kind of like the conduit between you and
Yes.
the congregation.
Right. And that because the apostles in the beginning were trying to do the message, trying to do, the marketing and the preaching, but also taking care of people. And already even in those early days, there was some prejudice. There were the people of Jewish tradition, Asian, Israel, Palestine, Jewish. And then there were the Hellenized Jews, who were basically Greeks, they practiced Jewish religion, but they weren't the same ethnicity. Well, they complained the Jewish people who are in needs, the widows, whatever, are getting more attention than the Greek widows who have needs. And the apostles basically said, well, we're stretched as thin as we can be, so what are we going to do? So they chose 7 deacons, all of them Greek, to fill in that gap. So from the beginning, deacons are the people who serve personal needs. Then the elders or the priests or the presbyters, those are the leaders of the community. They preach and teach and baptize and that sort of thing. Well, eventually, they would send out people and they would start other groups or whatever. And so they became this sort of network of churches, and the bishop then would pastor those networks of churches. So a bishop is just a priest who now has more than one church to look after. So that's how it was in the beginning. I still just have the one church.
Okay, I was going to ask.
I still just have the one.
In what time? You know what I mean?
I just have the one church, but we are the one church. We have a global fellowship. We have online stuff. We have local. We have the Global Justice Institute that we participate in, and that's where I am a bishop. And so what my congregation beyond Sunshine Cathedral is a portfolio. And so like Robert, my husband Robert, his part of the world is Caribbean and Africa. And then there's this other guy, his thing is Eastern Europe. I don't have territory. My portfolio is transgender awareness and communication. So all of this justice stuff that we're talking about, that's my diocese, is communication and trans people.
Honey. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a big shoes, I know you love Sophie Tucker.
Oh, yes. So you know, you might not know. Sophie Tucker died February 1966. Durrell Watkins, 9 months later, was born November 1966. You fill in the gaps. But 9 months later, here I come. I'm just saying,
right? There are no coincidences, all right? Who else inspires your fabulousness?
Well, first of all, Sophie Tucker, she was married like 3 times. She was not beautiful by traditional standards, but she was powerful, and she just chose to be sexy. She was like 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, but she'd have this big updo and these flowing blue, gowns. She had big meat hooks for hands, so she would always perform with like this long blue handkerchief to make her hand look more demure or whatever. And she sang these bawdy songs, just ribald, naughty, blue, way ahead of her time. So loving her. Mae West was sort of the same thing for me. In the same sort of period. She was another one, not traditionally beautiful, but she didn't know it. And so she sold it and people bought it. She was also a huge, way before her time, huge queer ally. She wrote a play called The Drag. When people would get arrested for doing it because it was considered obscene, she was doing her play, Diamond Lil or whatever. At night when she was done, she'd go to the jailhouse, bail out the cast of The Drag, and then they'd do it again the next day.
And start all over.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So she wrote a play about a drag ball, and then would bail out people when they got in trouble for it. She got arrested one time for a play she was doing that was considered obscene. She spent, I think, 8 days in jail. But when she was finally released, the warden and his wife were her 2 best friends in the world.
Oh my God, what a life.
Right?
Oh.
So, yeah, people who defy these imposed boundaries like gender binary or sexuality. Anybody who says, you don't get to tell me who I am. I get to tell you who I am. And so those
are the people who inspire your fabulousness.
And some of them are religious, and some of them, although Mae West was big into astrology, she was very spiritual. Sophie Tucker was very Jewish, gave a lot of money to Jewish charities and education. So some of them are religious, some of them not. But anybody who stands up for human dignity, anyone who celebrates diversity and inclusion, those people, and a lot of those people are in entertainment. And so my Master of Divinity is in theology and the arts. My doctorate of ministry thesis was called Popular Entertainment as Queer Canon. So my whole doctoral thesis is about how queer people can get their spiritual needs met from popular entertainment. You don't have to ever step foot in a synagogue or church, and still you can hear a positive message, form community, have important rituals. That religion is so innate, you're going to form it anyway. And how queer people have traditionally done that is with drag and cabaret and film and theater and dance. And so my whole doctoral is how thesis about how queer community is innately spiritual, and we have done all the things religion is meant to do, even if you're outside the church.
Let's talk about you and your hubby for a second, okay? Are there moments where you're all spiritual, you're ready to help everybody, and Robert's like, I'm not in it today? And then and then the other day it's opposite. He's gung-ho, he wants to save the world, and you want to stay in your kaftan. Are there days like that?
Actually, I do. On Mondays, I do a thing called Midday Prayer. And we on Fridays, I do a show called Divine Science Everywhere. And then on Tuesdays, we record a week's worth of stuff called Queer God Squad. And a lot of times I don't think I've ever done Queer God Squad this way, but I've done the other shows in kaftan. I'm like, you know what? I can't, this is how you're going to get me. So I have done it. And I've never, well, I was going to say I've never preached in kaftan, but that's a lie. I preached in full drag once in Nashville, Tennessee, but I put on quite a bit of weight, and so I just wore a kaftan so to be comfortable. But hair, makeup, the whole thing. But instead of a gown, I wore a kaftan. I was Mrs. Roper, and but Robert is actually the extrovert of the family, and I'm really an introvert, which I can do everything anybody needs to do on stage, on a mic. But whereas afterwards, Robert can do it again, I've got to have 2 cocktails and a nap. I have to recharge. Is
that wine afternoon thing that you guys used to do after church?
Used to. Church, with or without other people, I'm going to have 2 dirty martinis and a nap.
With or without other people.
I mean, join us if you want to.
Join us if you want to.
Right?
Do you and Robert ever have a date night where it's intentional, okay? You're not bishops. You're not saving the world. You're not leading us, You're just Robert and Durrell going out for something to eat.
We do, but it's spontaneous. We don't, it's not Tuesday night without fail.
Planned. Yeah, I just can't.
So but Robert is so outgoing. He's just such a people person, and I am a people person for hire. I can be friendly and outgoing.
Who chased who?
Well, just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you're not on the make. We met at theology school. And we were in the same dorm, and he was but away. And we were young, in our late 20s, and I would go to the gym every day, and he would run every day. He was just coming out of the Marines. The Navy, but he was assigned to a Marine base. And so he would run every day, and I'd go to the gym every day, at about the same time. And so what happened was, when he would come in from his run, he would take his shirt off and leave his door open. And what I would do is, even though, for you go in and just a few doors that way is my door, is my room, I'd go the long way around to my room, so I'd have to go by his open door. And that's how it started. I'm telling you, I love that. I love that so much. True story.
And you heard it here first, all right? Just to let you know. So here at the FayWhat Show, we play.
Now neither one of us will leave our shirt off or leave the door open because, check us out. But in those days.
Listen, the best is that Durrell didn't even go to the gym. He just started going to the gym because Robert was running every day. He was not even interested, okay?
I wish I could say that was a lie.
I love it. I don't care how it started now. It makes me love them even more. So here at the FayWhat Show, we have a rapid fire game. We call it Say What with FayWhat. And it's basically like the OR game, okay? The rapid fire, I give you 2 options and you answer either one that comes to mind. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. Pulpit or podcast?
Oh my God.
You would think, right? You would think this would be an easy one.
They're the same way to me.
You got to pick one.
Okay, pulpit.
Gospel choir or drag show?
Oh, drag show. Because you can do gospel in the drag show.
Very true. White collar or rainbow stole?
Oh, Rainbow Stole.
Yes. Vatican or Wilton Drive?
With Hilton Drive every time.
Sunday sermon or Sunday fun day?
For real? For real? For real?
Both, because that one has to be both, right?
Okay.
Greek ruins or Roman ruins?
Greek.
Theology books or telenovelas?
Theology. I'm so boring to say, but yes,
No,
theology.
but he's a theology nerd. Yeah, I get it. Holy water or sparkling water?
Sparkling wine? What?
Rosé every day, bitch. Confession booth or TikTok live?
TikTok.
Amen or amen, queen?
Yes, Queen and hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Preach it or slay it?
Oh, slay. I'm here to slay, bitch.
Slay, baby, slay. Eucharist, is that how you say it?
It is.
Okay, yay. Or brunch?
You know what? They're not really different things. They're celebratory meals filled with Thanksgiving, Eucharist being Thanksgiving. So I'm going to say brunch with a Eucharistic attitude.
Listen, our house, you got to take note, right? You got to do something like this. Pride parade or Palm Sunday procession?
Oh, you're mean and evil, but I'm going to
Sorry.
say pride parade.
All right. Old Testament or Old Madonna?
Here's me just, oh my God, I'm so worried. I'm going to have to say Hebrew Bible, Old Testament.
Pope Francis or RuPaul?
Oh, this is easier than it ought to be, but RuPaul.
Divine revelation or divine metaphysics?
Divine in all of her glory.
Period.
But the
Period.
drag queen divine.
Oh, the drag queen divine. Period.
But also metaphysics.
But also metaphysics. Organ music or EDM music?
Come on. The thump of our people, the sacred music of our tribe.
The circuit music of our
Yes.
tribe. Bishop Rob or Bishop you?
Bishop Rob, of
Bishop
course.
Rob, of
Hello.
Handsome devil. Oh my
Yes.
God, and now I know about the door. What?
Right?
I can't wait to see it.
Which he left open every day. Complete trash.
I bet. Miss Sophie Tucker or Miss Piggy?
Miss Sophie Tucker.
All day.
Right? Like, that's not even a real question.
All day. Candlelight vigil or disco ball rally?
Disco ball rally. You can visualize it.
You could. It's true. Sermon notes or improv?
Oh, improv.
Okay.
Because even when I use notes, I don't stick to them and I get in trouble.
You don't.
Yeah.
And then you see the people like, what is he? Where'd he go? He knows the time. I've seen this. Sundays, 2 services. You'll love it. All right. Drag is sacred or drag is salvation?
Oh. Well, for some it is salvation, but for all of us it can be sacred. But for
Okay.
some it really is salvation.
God is love or God is fabulous?
God is fabulous love.
Fabulous love. Church picnic or queer cruise?
Oh, queer cruise.
100.
Right.
Final blessing or final word?
Oh, let's bless.
Let's bless
Yeah.
all day. Let's bless all day.
Let's bless.
Bishop Durrell, you are proof that queerness and faith not only can coexist, they can celebrate together, and you prove it to everyone every single day. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being my friend. You don't understand how much that means to me. I adore you. I adore you. I adore you. I adore you. Like, I could be in bed with you for like a whole other hour. You know what I mean? With leaders like this, we can do anything, right? There are moments that with the current administration, we feel useless and hopeless and like there's nothing that we can do, right? Midterm elections are right around the corner. But you can also go to church and be led, right? Or just be fed. How about that?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Sometimes all we need is that.
And actually, we will feed you. I mean, we have food every Sunday between services. We actually give food to people who need food in their homes every Wednesday. Like, we will really, really feed you. So, yeah, we're here for you. We got you, Biz.
We got you, baby. Oh my God, I was thinking about Ann Atwell also. She leads an incredible food pantry.
Yes.
Go look up on Sunshine Cathedral. All right, look up Sunshine Cathedral. Find out everything that they do. They give away food. They help pets in need, which is one of my favorite things. Right, with spay and neutering, with food, with anything that you need for your pet. If you are in need for it, they have once a month where they help that as well. So look up Sunshine Cathedral and for all your queer needs.
Miss
right?
Coco Peru is going to be performing soon. Yes, for real. Go to sunshinecathedral.org. We got a lot going on.
I love that. Sunshine Cathedral isn't just a church, it's a home, okay? And it's also #MyQueerChurch, so look it up, all right? So get ready and do this with me. Look into that camera and give them your best. FayWhat?
FayWhat?
One more time. FayWhat?
FayWhat?
Yes, all right.
Let's make it 3 times like the Trinity.
FayWhat? There it is. Make sure that you follow Bishop Durrell on all social media. He's on there all the time. He's on TikTok. He's on Facebook. He's on Instagram. He's on everything. And of course,